My name's John Bleakley. I am here at the Heart Foundation. I've had an aortic dissection, which was in February 5 years ago, and then had a re-entry, open heart surgery 6 months after that, again in June.
And I'm Pete Fleming, I'm 48. I had a aortic dissection in April 2015, and then in 2017 I had a vascular quadruple bypass.
The void for me was huge after, while sitting in hospital and coming out of hospital. I wanted to know medically what had gone on, but I also wanted to know what sort of journey this was going to be, and I wanted to see someone or someone's perspective and see them back to normality, see their life back where it was beforehand, more or less, and what their new normal was. I wanted to see that in the real, and I wanted to be able to talk to that person face to face. That's what I felt, and I know, speaking to Pete and Dave, they wanted to do the same thing. So I thought, because it wasn't there for me, then I could help it be there for somebody else, and get involved with the Heart Foundation, which is why I approached the Heart Foundation and said, can I do this? Is it possible? And it was only to talk to people, to say, hey, I've been there, I can empathise with you, this is where I am now, this is what my journey was like. And I've had the opportunity of talking to some people who've done that, and they feel very similar, if not the same emotions, and they're on the same journey.
It's been a massive part of the healing process to actually reach out and find someone else that is going through what you're going through, and they can empathise with you. As I'm sure everybody knows that's watching this, empathy is everything, isn't it? If you can put yourself in someone else's position, there's nothing stronger than that. Fortunately, I'd been given a leaflet to go to a cardiac rehab, and I walked in the room and there was a guy around the same age as me sitting there, and his name is Dave, and he'd had an aortic dissection as well, and it was total kismet because nobody else in the room had had an aortic dissection. I sat down with Dave, had a chat to him. We realised that we were both on the same journey and both completely bewildered and confused by the whole thing. So we went out and had a coffee when we were starting to feel that we could. And then a friend of mine sent me an email and said, I've just seen this on Stuff, and it was John here. And so I went onto LinkedIn and looked up John and reached out to him and said, look, me and my friend Dave are both been through the same thing, and the rest is history. We met in a pub, and so the three of us really realised that we had the same condition, the same thoughts, the same so similar experiences, and it was just so amazing to actually be able to sit down with two guys on the same journey and have had the same experience, and be able to recount our experiences and know that the person listening to you had total empathy for what you were talking about was just probably the best treatment I had.
Yeah, and for me, that was part of the journey. You know, part of the journey of which was the gap, the void for me, was finally connecting with someone, because it's such a rare disease, that finally catching up with someone or meeting with someone who'd been through the same thing was just another piece in the journey of getting back to what my new normal was, and been able to connect with these guys initially, and then I've even felt myself grow through that, because I used to get extremely emotional talking about this stuff, and from time to time I still do. But I think because we've shared so much, it's helped me personally get past that point, so now I can probably talk about it more confidently. My recommendations from my experience to others who find themselves unfortunately in this space would be, I think it's easy to break it into the two camps, and the first one is get some answers medically, because for me I wanted to know what had happened, what technically that was, and how that's impacted me physically. I absolutely believe you get involved in some sort of support, whether it be a one-on-one support, whether it be a cardiac group, through the hospitals, or a group through the Heart Foundation like ourselves, where you can actually share and talk with people who've been through the same experience. I just completely believe that will help you significantly through your journey.
My tips would be, probably my biggest tip was my medication. my medication wasn't working for me. It was making me feel very nauseous. It was giving me headaches. It was keeping my blood pressure down. So I sought out a hypertension specialist who was fantastic, who sorted out my medication. Then also my exercise. I found out what the limitations were to what exercise I could do. I simplified my life a little bit. I don't generally drink too much alcohol anymore because I just find life is easier without it. I quite enjoy being 10 kilos lighter for a start. I, again, started to smell the roses more, if you like, and take in things and appreciate things for what they were, and and just being happy to be here. And then on the emotional side, again, I'm very lucky that I reached out and I found my friend John here and my friend Dave, and and then I know that in the background I have a support. But I suppose in summary is own the situation, own the medication, own the treatment, own the emotional side, and you've got to really take charge, because I suppose the old adage, the squeakiest door gets oiled first, is probably quite important.
Yeah, and I agree. That's a good point. I suppose that's one, in a summary, that's what I did. I got some answers here and I got some support here. And I was lucky to have family close to me that helped me with that and encouraged me it. But I took some control of my future by making some decisions and owning that, rather than waiting for things just to come to me and happen. And it's difficult because you may not be in the right headspace to do that, but someone close to you and your family will help you through that. I just think that's really important, to own, get some answers and get some support. So the benefits I see from sharing my story with others absolutely helps me through my personal journey, and it has done right from the start. Because each time you share it, some have been in a similar place and will give you feedback. If they haven't, or they aren't hugely interested, then it still helps you get through to back to your new normal. Hearing other stories from others helps me in the space where, well, it helps them get through their journey, but it also helps me understand that others have been through the same experience, and it makes you feel less alienated.
Any person that has empathy for what I've been through is extremely valuable to me, extremely valuable.